Before we get into today's video, first a big thanks to our sponsors at NordVPN. Get 70% off by going to nordvpn.com/censoredgaming or checking out the link in the description. NordVPN allows you to surf the web as if you were located in over 60 countries, meaning you can bypass filters and regional restrictions. It also keeps your internet data secure so you get safe when browsing, and they are one of the few companies that have a strict no data logging policy. It's available for mobile as well as PC, and it's been consistently voted the best VPN service around. So again, get a huge 70% off by going to nordvpn.com/censoredgaming or checking out the link in the description. And even more, get an extra month for free by using the code censoredgaming at checkout. Hey guys, it's been a while since the last video and a lot of stuff has been going on, and so today we'll be going through some of the biggest news stories happening in the world of video game regional differences. First up, one of the biggest pieces of news recently has been the announcements that Tokyo Mirage Sessions will be getting ported to the Nintendo Switch early next year in a new updated version that boasts the addition of quite a lot of new content. New features include new story content, dungeons, playable characters, costumes and songs, and is slated for a worldwide release January 17th. The game was originally released in Japan in 2015 and then the West in 2016, and is notable due to the game having quite a few differences between the English and Japanese versions. Commenting on these localization differences prior to the game's release, publishers Nintendo explained that any changes made to in-game content were due to varying requirements and regulations in the many different territories Nintendo distributes its products. No further details on what these varying requirements and regulations are have been given, which led to confusion from some fans over why the game faced these changes. The new release has brought into question whether any of these alterations will be reverted at all, and whether any similar changes will be made to the game's new content. It's also been speculated how the Japanese release will be handling the game's content, and especially with a listing over on the Nintendo website stating that the Japanese version will contain English language support. Whilst for now these details aren't known, this is something that the channel will be sure to keep an eye on as we approach the game's release date. One point that was noticed during the initial announcement trailer was that one of the game's bosses still had the same changes made to her appearance that were made in the original English version, this being the addition of a thick smoke that stays clinging to the chest area, keeping it hidden from view. However, curiously, this same change can also be found in the Japanese version of the Nintendo Switch trailer. There could be a number of reasons for this though, and it doesn't necessarily mean that this change will also be made in Japan this time around. Also, over on the Japanese official website, there is currently a screenshot showing Tsubasa in one of her Japanese outfits and not the English replacement. This outfit was changed overseas so that she is no longer wearing a bikini top, but instead something more modest. Again, when there's more details on all of this, the channel will be sure to report back with further info. Next up, we have some news on the recently released The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch. The game is a fully fledged remake of the Game Boy's Link's Awakening, and the original had a few localization differences between the English and Japanese versions due to the rules that Nintendo of America had back in the 90s to ensure that their games were kept very family friendly. This saw changes made to the mermaid side quests, where in the English versions the mermaid tasks you with finding her lost pearl necklace. Instead, in the Japanese version, this was finding her lost bra, which led to a number of differences between versions to dialogue and then the necklace and bra items themselves. In the remake, however, the Japanese version now has the mermaid losing her necklace too, meaning there are no longer any differences between the two versions. There was also originally a change made to the hippo modeling for a painting, who had breast-like mounds and is half covered with a towel in the Japanese version. In the new remake, this is again the same worldwide, with the hippo in both versions now wearing clothes. Another Nintendo game that's generated some attention recently is Fire Emblem Three Houses, a game that's been out for 2 months now but has had a post-release update that adds a few new additions to the game, including a new extra hard difficulty mode. Alongside this, fans have noticed that a more subtle change has been made to one of the game's support conversations in the English versions. In the new update, Benedetta has a line of dialogue changed when talking about how her father treated her when she was younger. Originally, she said, "To train me to be a good submissive wife, he'd do things like tie me to a chair and leave me there all day, challenging me to stay quiet." Whilst now she says, "To train me to be a good wife, he'd do things like tie me to a chair." This is quite a strange situation, as the game was already out for some time and there seems to have been no noticeable complaints over the original line. As far as being different from the Japanese original, however, looking into the Japanese version shows that the new English line is actually perhaps a little more faithful, as the Japanese version never mentions being submissive or more challenging to stay quiet. The Japanese version did however say Shiraku Jichu, which could be translated to English as day and night or around the clock, like the original English line's use of all day. But to summarize, the original English line seems to have been drummed up a little bit during the translation, and the new line is fairly accurate to the Japanese version but not perfect. It is again very unusual however for a single line of dialogue to be altered like this post-release, and so the situation is of course quite noteworthy. That's all for this time though, and once again a big thanks to our sponsors at NordVPN. There'll be a link in the description if you want to go check their big discount out, and until next time, thank you for watching.